This is a short review of the Logitech Z906 5.1 speaker system. I have been a long-time user of the Logitech Z5500. I bought that system when it first came out. Man, I don't know how long ago that was. 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Somewhere around in there. 10 years ago, I know at least. And I used that system for all that time, and finally the subwoofer just got to the point where the amp in it was messed up, and it just had a buzz every time when no sound was playing. I could just hear that sub buzzing, and I put up with it as long as I could, and I finally said, nah, it's about time I upgrade this system. So I got rid of it. And after that, I said, you know what, maybe I'm going to try something different this time. Maybe stereo is good enough. So I went that direction. Now, I play games, I listen to music, I watch movies, watch videos on my computer. And this is primarily where I watch all my stuff. So, and plus I'm in a small room. Let me show you this room real quick. You can see there's the one speaker. There's my room. So you can see it's not very big. It's only like 7 feet wide by 8 feet. There's a surround, and there's the other one. There's the center, and then there's my left. So you can see it's pretty condensed. So anyway, I'm thinking, okay, maybe we'll go stereo this time. So I got me some desktop speakers, and first I moved, I had some edifier, man, I can't even think of the name of them now, 1280T, something like that. I still have them in my living room for my TV, and they work fine in there because all I wanted was to improve the sound coming from the TV. So I didn't invest a lot. They're powered speakers, so I have them in there, and they definitely are an improvement to the TV speakers. So I said, okay, let me first try those. So I brought those in here, and I just set them up on the desk, and I just ran it stereo. Now, a little bit about my system. There's my computer, and you can see I have a sound card right there. Sound is very important to me, and I've been using the sound card. This is the Z Blaster. I've been using a sound card for as long as I've been on a computer, practically. And these days it seems like a lot of people are just going with onboard sound, which has improved quite a bit since computers first come out, but it's still not good enough for me. And over the years I have tried numerous times to take out the sound card and go with the onboard sound. You know, I've done upgrades to my computer, bought different motherboards. Each generation has like improved sound. And I've tried taking sound cards out and going back with onboard sound, and I would instantly notice a difference. It's hard to explain. It's the fullness and the crispness and the cleanness of the sound. After being with sound card, getting used to the sound of a sound card and what it produces, the onboard sound just didn't cut it for me. So whenever I would try it, it felt like something was not there. I don't know, presence of sound, something was just not there, if that made any sense. So I'd end up always going back to the sound card. So that's presently what I'm still on. Okay, so I put the edifiers in here, and then played the same source of sound that I had before. Played my games. I have quite a few games. Movies. Watching TV. See, I have a TV in here that I have going through the sound card, so everything I can watch through my TV will come through my speakers. And instantly, you know, after being used to 5.1, instantly I didn't like what I was hearing. I was just used to that fullness of sound being in this room, and without the surround and just having the speakers, even though technically the speakers were superior to these, the sound wasn't there. So after trying different things, and you know, like in movies, just that experience I was getting before, I wasn't getting with just the two speakers. So then I tried to upgrade. I said, well, let me try some little better speakers. So I bought some Fluence i40s, and they were about $200, and they were a definite upgrade from those edifiers. And the same thing. Even though some things sounded pretty good, generally, with all those things I just said, games, music, TV, it was not cutting it. And I'm sitting there dumbfounded. You know, I'm saying, I know I have better speakers than what I had. And these were powered speakers I'm talking about. Why am I not getting that sound? Why does it still feel empty to me? And I think it's because of the size of this room, the speakers being too close. And I said, you know what, I don't want to go down. You know, I've been used to this certain kind of sound, you know, from that Z6500 for years. The sound experience, I guess you could say, and I didn't want to lose that. So then I started I went back to looking at the Logitech again. And I know the Z5500 has long been retired. Years now. You can't get that system. And the next, Logitech's next offering to replace it, I guess you could say, or their highest offering in the 5.1 is this Z906, which is the one I have now. It was about the same price, about $280, something like that, but close to the same price I paid for the Z5500 years ago. Quite a few things different in it. One, if you look at that speaker, it looks quite a bit different than the Z5500 did. And the first thing I noticed about the whole thing is it made the old Logitech speakers look really dated. This is just a lot more modern look. The other one had grills. This doesn't. This has the wire. And I just like the looks. It looks a lot cleaner. And like I said, it looks just more modern. The console is updated. Don't zoom in too much here because my camera's zoom isn't all that refined. They changed the console quite a bit. The other one was this one's horizontal. The other one was more vertical. The other one had kind of like a screen on it. Again, this makes the other system look really dated. Basically has the same kind of controls on it. The remote, let's hit the remote right there. A remote, go zoom out again, is smaller than the other one. basically does the same thing, and again, just looks more, it's more compact in the hand. I like it a lot better than the original remote. You've got your, before you have a slider bar. If you can look here, you can see my volumes going up. Let me go back down. You can adjust the level of each one. See, right now there's the sub, there's the surrounds, there's the center, and there's the rest of them. You can adjust the volume on each one of those. You know, if you want to boost the sub, boost the surround, the rear, boost the center. Be honest with you, I'd messed with that a little bit, but I've kind of left it stock. It just seemed like Logitech has kind of nailed it. So anyway, experience. There's my center down there. This has an 8-inch sub. Let me focus on it a little bit here. The Z5500 had a 10-inch sub, so they went down a little bit on the sub. They went to an 8-inch, a little bit smaller of a box. When I play everything that I played before, everything is well, I'd say 90% of everything is way better than what it was before. The sound that this system produces is so much cleaner than the Z5500. I can't even tell you. It's made listening to everything across the board sound better. My biggest complaint with the Z5500 was the total balance of all the speakers with the sub. It sounded, it definitely had the thump, but it sounded muddy. Best I can describe it. The sound sounded muddy. When you listen to a movie, there was, especially the center channel, a lot of times the sound would drown out, and when I was watching the whole movie, I was having to adjust the sound from the speakers throughout the whole movie. You know, in quiet scenes, I couldn't hear the voice. I was playing with, it's a creative card, so I had the creative software where I can boost the dialogue, and I would have to keep messing with it, and then other times the dialogue would be too loud and I would have to be moving it around, and it just didn't sound clean to me. Now there would be certain sources that sounded really good, but in balance of listening to everything, you could definitely hear the shortcomings in those speakers, especially of me having them as long as I had them. This system here outperforms the Z5500 in every way possible, just about. Listening to everything is just brighter. It's brighter, it's clearer, and it's cleaner. So listening to movies, now I don't have that problem anymore that I had before. Movies are pure joy for me to listen to because everything is balanced and it's clean. And the sound coming from the rear is balancing with the mid, balancing with the sub. So everything is just more enjoyable. I guess that's a good word to use, enjoyable for me to listen to. The one thing there could have been a little improvement in is the sub. Now, the 10-inch of the C5500 did go a little deeper than the 8. And, I don't care. I don't care what people say. An 8-inch sub is just not going to have the performance and the deep bass that a 10-inch sub has. There's just no way. It's just not physically possible. And sometimes I'll listen to something that I had listened to before with the Z5500s in the bass area, where I can tell the difference. You know, I'll go, I remember that. I remember that song in that certain place. It went a little deeper than this one is going. Even though this one is sounding overall better and overall cleaner and still has the bass. I mean, don't get me wrong, this thing still does have the bass. But certain things, when you get used to how low that other sub could go, this one can't go that low. I don't know if I had the 10-inch sub, I don't know if that would throw the balance of the total sound off or not. That's something I'm just going to have to guess on. But if I would say overall, I am very pleased with this system. As soon as I plugged it back in, after going, you know, I went like 2-3 weeks with the stereo setup, trying to get used to it and playing all kinds of sources through it. And I finally came to the conclusion, I can't do this. I can't get used to this. I got to have that fullness back. And when I bought this system, I was hesitant, but kind of relieved to get it in a way, because I had just given up on the stereo. I was scratching my head, and I was like pretty pissed off actually, because after all these years of listening to sound a certain way in this room, and I didn't have it anymore. So I was thinking, damn, is this the way it's going to be now? I can't get that Z5500 anymore. What am I going to settle for? So when I got this and I plugged it in, it wasn't 5 minutes of listening to a sound source where I'm going, fuck yeah, I got it back. The sound that I had, the fullness of the sound in this room, I got it back. Instantly, I could tell. And I said, man, I don't know what I was messing with, those stereo system. And it just couldn't match these. Even though you're seeing the size of these, all of those, is significantly smaller than those big old, I mean, you know, the speakers that I had sitting in here, if I was sitting it right here, it would be way up here. It would be way up here. That's how much bigger they were than these. And it still couldn't touch these. You know, I don't know if I put them in a big room, I don't know what kind of experience I would get. You know, I don't know what the range of these speakers are and how big a room you can put them in. All I can say is for this room right here, these fill this room up big time. So if anybody's considering getting these, I don't know, for the price of $280, I know you can find 5.1 systems better than these, but you'd be hard pressed to do it, and I can about guarantee that you're not going to find it for the price point of these. Logitech, Edifier has one that I know of, but they're double the price of these. And I haven't heard it, and I'm sure, you know, you get what you pay for. I'm sure that sucker's going to thump. But I didn't want to spend that much money. So this is what I settled for. Perfectly happy with it. The sub could have reached down a little bit lower, but it's something I can surely live with. On the console, I have it hooked up on the sound card, both from optical out and from the 3 left, rear, center outs from the sound card. So you can go from direct or you can go digital. And this is just like the 5500. It has the DTS and it has the Dolby if you're going out from optical out. and that's going to be, what that means is it's passing it through its own decoder, then coming through your speakers, where from direct it's using, it's not using the decoder, it's just passing the sound straight through from whatever the source is. So I play around with those. Sometimes I'll listen to it from the optical, and sometimes I'll listen from direct. So it does give you some options. So pretty nice system overall. And I know I probably haven't covered everything, but if anybody's thinking about getting these, especially if they're thinking about upgrading from the Z5500, trust me, you won't be disappointed. You know, you're going to see, you know, that the Z5500 is 10 plus years old, and you can sure see it. You can hear it. What improvements have been made in that time when you listen to this after listening to that. Because, like I said, generally everything sounds better. There's some songs that I'll listen to because I have direct comparisons in my head, and I could really see the weak points of the Z5500 and that song. They just sounded kind of distorted or too thump heavy and not clear enough, and I played that same song with this system, and it was just like instantly better. It's like, oh man, I can listen to this song again. Much volume you'll ever need, and if you just do most of your stuff like I do, listening to all your sources, pretty hard system to beat. And that's about it. Later.